Hi folks, this is Blue recording this for what seems like the 100th time. I got a new webcam and I've really been struggling to record from it, which is fun. Also a new microphone, which has, I recorded this entire video yesterday with no microphone sound, so that was a great success. Anyway, it's been a hot minute since I posted a video here, and yeah, sorry about that. I've been super busy with life, the standard stuff, mental health issues, yay, all the good stuff. Anyway, since the last time I recorded a video, I finished, it's either 2 or 3 books, I lose track. I think I'm on 22 for the year now, 15 to go. That feels a bit light though, but yeah, 2 or 3, doesn't really matter. I'm going to cover 3, so let's just assume it's 3. So, the first book that I got to was Prince of the Blood by Raymond Feist, which I've been reading with the guys over on the Midkemia Discord server. We got kind of a good thing going there where we're reading a chapter a day and then all talking about our thoughts on it there and then. So it's all fresh in your mind and you're kind of getting more glued in and more motivation to actually pick it up and read. Which has been quite nice because I've needed that extra motivation because I have been lacking in it. Anyway, Prince of the Blood is a bit of a departure from the original books. So the first books, Magician, Silverthorn, and A Darkness at Sethanon, are all continuous, one after the other, and they follow a set of characters throughout their lives. Prince of the Blood picks up. It's about 20 years later, same world, same setting, but focuses on the twin sons of one of the characters from the first set of books, Prince Arutha. It follows his sons Boric and Erland, named after his father and his wife's father. So it's it follows them as they venture south into the Empire of Great Kesh, where they try and almost create bonds and create alliances with these people to help secure power in the kingdom and power in the empire. Obviously it doesn't go well. It wouldn't be much of a book if it was just let's go and be friends. So one of them gets kidnapped, couldn't tell you which, don't remember, they're pretty much the same character. One of them gets kidnapped and has a story where he's trying to get back to the others, whilst the other twin carries on with his journey to Kesh, and I'm noticing my webcam is zooming in and out quite a bit, and I don't know why, but I'm just going to carry on. So, rather than the first books, which had dragons, magic, travelling through different worlds, this book focuses more in this real world of Midkemia, and focuses on political disagreements and conspiracies, murder plots, and sword duels, and is all in all a lot better than I gave it credit for the first time I read it 7 or 8 years ago. Now, the second book that I read was the next one in the series, The King's Buccaneer. Again, Raymond Feist, whose name will come up quite a lot. Whilst Prince of the Blood followed the eldest sons of Arutha, The King's Buccaneer follows his youngest son, Nicky, or Nicholas. Nicky has always been a bit coddled and a bit underappreciated and undertested in his family, so to toughen him up, seeing as he's the third in line to the throne behind his 2 twin brothers, Nicky gets sent out to the west coast to stay with his uncle Martin in the town of Cryde, where Arutha grew up. In Cryde, he gets assigned squire duties to kind of get a bit more of a feel of the actual manual labour side of things, rather than just being, hey, he's that young 16-year-old prince with a bit of a dodgy foot. And whilst Prince of the Blood was lots of intrigue and sword fights, I think it's safe to say that the King's Buccaneer is more boats and magic, which is cool. I like both those things. So Nicky is in Cryde, living happily as a squire rather than a prince, getting to know the locals and his cousin Marcus and his other cousin Margaret, when there's a big invasion on their city and their keep, and all of the youths of the town are kidnapped, apart from Nicky, Marcus, and his friend Harry, who has also been sent with Nicky to be a squire. So, naturally, being the young prince that he is who wants to prove himself, he gathers all of the troops that are still there and ventures forth across the ocean to go and rescue these kidnappees, along with his grandfather-to-be Amos Trask, who happens to be the king's admiral. So this book sees more of just a life story for Nicky. It's only like a year in length, but you really see him change from this young, unassuming boy to a young man in command of a ship and a fleet and a troop and an army. So they venture to this they venture to this otherwise kind of untravelled continent, Navindus, where they, using magic and intrigue, track down the kidnapped kids in an attempt to rescue them. But obviously, again, nothing goes to plan. There's magic, there's serpent people. It's all in all a pretty good fun read. It's not one of my favourites, but again, as with Prince of the Blood, I don't think I gave it enough credit the first time I read it. But that being said, both The King's Buccaneer and Prince of the Blood are kind of filler books between the Rift War Saga and the Serpent War Saga, which comes next, which actually has some of my favourite characters and probably my favourite book in the whole 30-book cycle, Rise of a Merchant Prince, which is such a kind of detour from the main story when everything is magic, war. Rise of a Merchant Prince is more trades and taxes, which I think probably says more about me than it does the book. Anyway, we're actually going to start reading the Serpent War Saga as of August 2nd, and I think I'm going to start it a bit early and try and get a bit ahead. I'm getting married hopefully on August 6th, so I want to have that little bit of a head start for when I get married and take a few days doing nothing, so that I don't have to catch up when I'm back in the real world. Anyway, the third book I read since the last video I did was Shades of Grey by Jasper Fforde, which I read along with the lovely folks over on the Still Buffering Book Club on Facebook. Great people. I think all I can really say about Shades of Grey was it was surreal. So it's set in a world not too dissimilar from ours, maybe a distant future of our world, where everything is determined by your colour perception. In that there are certain people, well, everyone only really has like one colour that they can see, maybe two. If it's two, they're very highly respected and thought of as kind of like the leaders of their society. The purples are the leaders of the society, people who can see both red and blue. Now it follows a young boy, he's 20, follows a young man, Eddie Russet, who can see red, as his name would conveniently imply, who kind of, along with his father, gets shipped out to this small town, which I think is in Wales. Now, all the towns and cities have different names in this, but everything has postcodes and there are road names like A1140 or something. That's just a road. I don't know if that's near me. I don't know if that's in Wales. No idea. But it follows Eddie and his father, who get shipped out to this small town to kind of just shush them and keep them out of the way, because Eddie's been upsetting the cart with his new ideas on how to queue. And whilst they're there, it kind of leads up to Eddie finding himself in the middle of this plot to disrupt the system and disrupt the hierarchy, and just turn the whole colourtocracy on its head. I really enjoyed the second half of this book. It took a lot to get going, especially I think I'd overbooked myself. I'd got too many books on the go at once, which I do quite a lot. This camera changing its focus non-stop is really getting on my nerves. But I'm 9.5 minutes in, so let's just keep going. Let's put the light on and hope it stops it autofocusing. So, where was I? Yes, so I really struggled early on. I found it really difficult to get into, maybe because I've got too many books going on, maybe because I was a bit unmotivated. But once I got probably about a third of the way in, I absolutely blitzed through the second and third thirds And I really enjoyed it, man. Like, I've read a couple of Jasper Fforde books before, just a couple of the Thursday Next series, which I think I've spoken about previously on this channel. But yeah, I didn't know what to expect going into this. I voted for it in our monthly vote to determine what we're going to read, because it was Jasper Fforde. It's different to the Thursday Next books, but it's still enjoyable. I think I prefer the Thursday Next books, but I'm definitely looking forward to the sequel that is apparently going to happen to Shades of Grey. I'll definitely pick it up release day and read it straight away. Speaking of picking up new books and reading them straight away, since the last video I've only bought 2 new books. So first up is Queen of Storms by Raymond Feist. This is the sequel to the King of Other Thing. Yeah, I don't remember what the first book was called. King of Ashes, something like that. It's in his new saga, the Firemane saga. So it's a complete separate world to the Midcamia stuff. I've not read the first one yet, but I did get it signed by him a year and a half ago, and I picked up this signed copy when I saw it in my local Waterstones. I've then also picked up Fireborn by Rosaria Munda, after Elliot Brooks went on about it quite a lot over on her channel, on her Instagram page. It's got dragons, it's got politics, and fantasy, obviously, and I really can't wait to read this one. Although my copy does have a damaged spine, which I'm not the happiest about, but maybe after I've read it I'll donate it and buy a better copy. So anyway, that'll do it from me for now. So I'll try and be more regular with videos now that I've got this set up, and I'll try and figure out how to stop this focusing, because it's really frustrating. Anyway, stay safe, wear a mask, Black Lives Matter, trans rights. Bye.